Hello, everybody. Welcome back to OTPC, and welcome back to War in the Pacific and the Invictus play-by-email game. How is everyone doing? We are doing another live recording in the morning, having a lovely coffee and a tea while we plan our strategic movements for the next day. Now, something we are going to focus on today, although I'm not going to do loads of it on the actual camera, is kind of going to be looking at submarines. We've been doing, generally okay with our overall kind of movement, although, of course, our cargo ships are getting hit by shore guns despite the fact they've got cover, etc. Yeah. But generally, we're doing not too bad in regards to our expansion and kind of taking areas that we want to take. But something that I have felt rather negatively about, as well as kind of, feeling it's been a bit lackluster, is our submarine, skills and our submarine kind of plans. Now, we obviously have had some good results. The hit on the Saratoga a few days ago was great, but generally we haven't been doing super good. So I asked for a little bit of advice on Discord, and yeah, I have managed to get some advice and some ideas. So we're going to put some of them into practice on camera, and then I'm going to kind of focus and do most of them off camera, because otherwise it's just kind of going to be me clicking around for a long time. But we can see here, for example, that Invictus has got, 3 submarines all hanging around Balikpapan. Makes sense, this is an area where we are going to be pulling out a lot of oil or fuel, hopefully in the future, so why not get those submarines in the way to kind of cause us that problem. So we'll deal with some anti-submarine stuff as well, and make sure we set that up. But yes, we're going to have a look at doing some submarine planning, so to speak. But other than that, I hope that everyone is doing well. We're just going through the night at the moment, dealing with submarines, mostly his. We'll see if any of ours pop up. A bit of reaction as well, which is good. Nothing super significant, but we should be moving rather quickly into day, which is always nice, because day moves a lot faster. So... oh, no, we're still on a night, but again, kind of lackluster US submarines. I mean, this is the thing as well, is something that kind of worries me, is that at the moment, this is where the US submarines are at their worst. The torpedoes don't work, and things like that. And basically, if they're still causing us problems, I'm still getting annoyed that we've got a heavy cruiser here, and our transport ship is getting absolutely battered. Then give it a year or so, to 1943, where the torpedoes get a lot better, then we're going to be losing more and more ships, and that's going to be starting getting to a point where we need to actually think and consider. I just don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at the fact that those ships are getting absolutely battered. Again, not quite sure why, despite the fact they have stuff to kind of deal with them. But yeah. But as I was saying, if these submarines are doing poorly now, when it comes to us being on the defensive and us making sure that we're building up our industry to take on any losses and issues like that, then, we don't want to be losing cargo ships hand over fist. So we'll keep an eye on things and see how it goes. So our air raids, we've got one in Victoria Point, doing a little bit of damage, which is always kind of fun. Destroying a gun. And some in Malaya, but again, actually this time doing a little bit of damage. So we also have some raids going on in China with some Sonias, and some pretty good damage. Now obviously, with China, something that we're kind of curious and something we've been working on over the last few days has been trying to deal with the Flying Tigers. So we will see if anything comes of that, i.e. do we have zeros and things covering where we're bombing, or are they going to respond to what we see? Now, this is rather frustrating. A couple of Dorna 24s trying to bomb the Hagaru. Nothing coming of it. The Hagaru is probably not going to stay there very long. So, here, over Changsha, get tons of flying tigers. So again, I don't know where exactly the flying tigers are, but we need to find them. And we need to kill them. Oh, yeah. I do apologise. Being that it's morning, I have a bit of a sniffly nose, so I will try and deal with that. Great, so we lose that transport ship, which I don't see why we should be losing a transport ship like that. Because, you know, we had a heavy cruiser, we had destroyers, they should have been suppressing those coastal guns. Maybe I should have been using more. Again, let me know in the comments, or give that a little bit of advice, but I'm very confused as to why we've lost that. We're losing far too many ships early on, and I'm kind of getting frustrated with it. Again, nothing against Invictus, he's playing well. It's more maybe our mistakes, but okay. Corvette trying to fire at us. Don't think it did any hit. There's actually 2 Corvettes firing at us, so no hit. Well, 1 hit, so nothing too major. An O20 near Brunei. So this is something that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the idea of, blockading ports, etc. Now this is quite far out. There isn't a cargo ship in there. That one's interesting. Now, again, what we're going to do is have a real look and talk about a couple of ideas to bring up. Now, combat near Xinjiang, good victory for us. Really good victory. That's what we'd like to see. So that clears Xinjiang. It keeps this line going. This kind of main rail line, which is always really, really useful. It looks like he has decided to cross near Ishang, which I think is kind of bold. Now this is Clark Field. We still have troops to come. They should be about here somewhere. Luzon is pretty much secure. I'm going to be curious to see how this goes. Obviously, Clark Field could be a bit of a nightmare. We did want to bombard Clark Field yesterday. Fuck me, we're losing a lot of troops. I might stick us on to defend and see how that goes. Deliberate attack at Tarakan, not good for us really, but we need to keep on top of that and capture that place. Okay, here comes the Allied bombardment. Pardon me, bombardment attack. Even though we've got field artilleries and stuff, it feels like we're not necessarily doing that much damage. Oh my god. What the fuck? It's doing so much damage to us. Okay. We need to work that out. Okay, so we got a couple of things we need to do before we kind of get things nice and secure and comfy. So let's go over to China. Fighters 27 in Changsha, so that suggests that he is in Changsha. So once again, we'll set us up for a sweep. Okay, and let's just have a look at the planes. They're not super fatigued, so what I'm actually going to do is for today is literally get all of my zeros to sweep over Changsha. All 45 of them. Getting all 45 of them to sweep over Changsha, hopefully we'll shoot down most of the Flying Tigers, and then we can kind of split them up as we need to. Now, something significant, the 6th Army has crossed the river. I don't know what river this is. I really should look at my Chinese geography to work this out. But have crossed the river and are moving up towards Chengzhou. Again, building this key fucking rail line, okay, with Shenzhou under our control. That means Shanghai to Wushang is connected by rail. We can pull resources from Manchuria. We can pull supplies from wherever the fuck we need. So yeah, super significant for us. So we can get onto that. Elsewhere in what you call it? In Clarkfield, let's get our troops kind of dug in and kind of hopefully let things go forward. We still got shit tons of supply in Manila, which should hopefully be allowing our troops to kind of take most of these damages and issues. You can kind of see here that yes, we've got a couple of units that require more guns, etc. But generally, on the most part, you know, they have what they need. Now, I'm kind of happy with that. We've got troops on the way, and when I say what they've got what they need, I'm talking about TOEs. Okay, so you know, this is basically what we see as, does this unit have all of the supplies and all of the requirement that it needs? Now, there is 15,000 infantry here. Obviously, we've got the 65th Brigade that has just turned up, which is quite nice to give us a bit more of a boost. I don't really want to do a full-on assault just yet, because we've got another 10,000 infantry coming up here, which I think would be much better to use. So we will see how that goes before we do something like that. The 16th Division. Now, the Miura detachment is on Davao. Okay, that makes sense why that can't form into another division as such. Speaking of Davao, we still have stuff trying to happen down here, but it's taking its time. Now, Tarakan, we still have a good amount of assault value, so we need to attack yet again. We have no ships here now, which is rather frustrating. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set these to bombardment. Allow escorts to bombard. Sure, let's get those destroyers to bombard. Minimum bombard. Let's set it to like 9,000 feet. Sorry, yeah, 9,000 feet. That way, it just gives them that enough time and space to be able to bombard it and do whatever they need to. I must admit, they don't have a lot of ammo, so they're probably not going to do a big amount of bombardment. But what I am also going to do is set one of these float planes, so the Jakes here, to go as a night scout. So it'll allow us to, fire at night. Some of these are taking some somewhat minor damage, but yeah, we just need to keep an eye on that. We got a load of DMSs, etc., that have turned up at Balikpapan to deal with the mine sweeping, and that is mostly clear. Now, obviously, what we also need to make sure we are doing is clearing somewhere like Miri, etc. So what I want to do is I'm just going to send these guys back to Miri. I'm pretty sure Hongo is pretty aggressive in his views and ideas of how to deal with ships, so that's fine. And what I'm also going to do, because we've done the minesweeping, minesweepers are armed with depth charges. So again, what we're going to do is for these, the W18 and W17, these are going to kind of be on patrol over here to kind of make sure that we can get rid of any submarines that we see. So let us set up Tominanga here, and then let's give another aggressive captain as well. We like aggression. Aggression has been working for us. Let's go for Najima, Lieutenant Najima. Okay, so Lieutenant Najima is the leader of the task force. Perfectly fine by me. So mission no longer minesweeping. Let's go to anti-submarine combat and set TF routing. Set patrol zone, patrol around target, Miri. Sorry, Balikpapan. So that hopefully will kind of break a blockade a little bit of Balikpapan, and we've got another one here. Now, I'm not going to use these as such. I am going to keep them in Balikpapan for the time being. What I'm going to do is we will use them on anti-submarine at the moment, but what I will do is I'm going to move some more specialized anti-submarine stuff over here. What's the aggression on these captains? Let's go at least 50 for each of these guys. So, Yamazumi. Hashigawa. I'm just clicking on Karobe. And Nashibo is fine. Again, relatively not super aggressive, but a little bit more aggressive captains, just to kind of help here. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of patrol up here, and just kind of, again, clear this area and hope that there's no allied submarines over there. Good. Now, elsewhere, we need to make sure that these guys are getting supplies. Generally, I'm happy with how things are over here right now, but what we're going to do is we need to make sure that we are blockading some ports. Okay, so RO66 here, totally fine submarine. You know, she's not the biggest submarine in the world. She's L4 type, but totally fine. Now, let me kind of set up the patrol zone. There's 3 major bases that I want to blockade before we really begin, and that is Port Moresby, Sydney, and Melbourne. Now, I have again had some advice, which is make sure that you are careful in regards to coastal waters, because something that the Allies will have is they have particularly good anti-submarine sonar in coastal waters, and that's, I think, fair enough. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have submarines relatively, far away. Now, one thing I can't remember, and I'll just double check on the map just to, is it on here? Whereabouts is it? There's somewhere on this map that it tells me what the, I thought it was up here somewhere. We're obviously playing with a custom map texture, but I thought it told me somewhere where what was coastal and what wasn't. I think, if I remember rightly, stuff like this white, kind of whiter water here, which doesn't have the lines, is more coastal. So we'll keep an eye on that. So yeah, let's see. So where is your home port? Kalawajan Island. So for stuff that is kind of dealing with Sydney and Melbourne, they can go back to Rabaul. I know we had obviously the problems with Rabaul, but that won't be lasting too much longer, hopefully. So set patrol zone. Again, let's make sure that we are very much, blockading the port. Again, we need to be careful, but let's almost make it so that there are no ships able to get through without us finding out. Now, again, something else we could do, use the I-22, which is a bit of a bigger ship again, set home port, and go up to Rabaul, and then, patrol zone. Let's do it here to here. Okay. And again, we should be able to spot anything there. And we got another sub here. It's kind of doing the opposite side. Again, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's not a bad idea, being able to cover the opposite side of what you call it. Now, the only problem with Rabaul at the moment is fuel, but we will sort that soon enough. So again, patrol zone. That is going to go from here to here. Okay. Much closer in. And again, we're going to do the same with Sydney. And something else I want to make sure we're doing, which we kind of already are, is our submarines that have aircraft. So, for example, the ones with Glens. These guys should be kind of almost an advanced picket line. Trying to see if we can spot anything. Now, another part of this that I was recommended, and something that we also need to set up over a little bit. These guys, a lot of these are going home. That's fine. So we're going to have a load of submarines going home. I want to take these. Yeah, they're on human control, which is all good. Is that... Oh god, that's taken a lot of damage, the I-26. So something that we were told is that we want to make sure that we actually have a relatively good cover system, and kind of, you know, zone of cover by things like our Mavises so that we can see what is going on. And again, I think that is always exceptionally useful, and something that we will actually kind of keep on top of. Now, I just want to see if the Mili Naval Fortress has... No, it doesn't have aviation support. I wasn't sure if it did or not. So that's fine. Now, let us therefore set up our arcs. Okay, so set on map. Let's set one here, and then the other one here. And again, these should therefore in turn start patrolling over these kind of areas and seeing what's going on. Now, Tarawa would be even better because it starts to let us go around here. And this may be, you know, this is going to be kind of perhaps why we look for Baker Island or something of the sort, just to kind of keep an eye on stuff. Now, I might even put a couple of our submarines that have aircraft just down to here in Fiji, because I have a feeling that if we have a patrol route from, say, they're far too far out. We're going to close those up a little bit, I think. God, the I-16, you need to go home. Because you're really badly damaged. I think what we would need to make sure we're doing is kind of covering that possible supply line. But again, if we blockade the ports first, that should be more effective. So we're going to do most of that on screen, off screen. Land combat wise, nothing too exciting is happening. We still have stuff moving to wherever it needs to be moving to, which is all good. We want to take Tarakan as fucking quickly as possible, please. And you know, we're getting ready, I think, for our invasion of Pamlabang, which would be amazing. Now, obviously, a lot of this, the 31st Division, a lot of this is still kind of you know, set in China, and I'm probably move the 31st Division into China once we're kind of done over here. But yes, we need to kind of prep for Pamlabang very soon. And the idea behind that is basically going to be setting up fighters and support units to basically mean that we cover Pamlabang and get ready for the next step. Now, the 4th Battalion, or the 4th Infantry Regiment, where is the other one? They're on their way, of course. Yes, because we're making a whole division. That's fine. Okay. I think that's where we're going to leave it for the video. I am going to do a little bit more work elsewhere, as mentioned. So, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Please do hit that like and subscribe. Give us some comments. Tell us what you've kind of enjoyed, or is this campaign kind of going differently to how you might have expected it to? And if it is, you know, what would you have expected it to do? What might you have thought we were going to do? And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. You know, for people who've been giving advice, people who've been following and subscribing, it's been really nice to see, and it's really nice to see these videos get, you know, a decent amount of support. So, yeah, please do keep that up. And until next time, have a really, really wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.